Okay, I'm sitting underneath my one broken BMW, and here is my new broken BMW. It's a manual, and that's a whole nother. Anyway, I'm going to think about it. But I'm sitting underneath a 2001 BMW e46, and this thing, I'm working on doing basically a full restoration on this vehicle. So, for context, we're in the rear of the vehicle. There's the front of the vehicle. And we're starting at these crusty, rusty brake lines. So in 2001, BMW did not put a coating on their brake lines. They painted them, so they chip, and as soon as they do, they start rusting out. And in order to replace these, you basically have to drop the fuel tank, and I decided to drop the rear subframe as well. There is a fuel tank hanging out right there, and subframe is around here somewhere. So anyways, there's a bunch of clips. I just want to have like a conversation, I guess, just randomly about this. There's a bunch of clips that this mounts into. A bunch of these are just broken, rusty clips. So all these are getting replaced while I'm here. So passenger side brake line goes over here. There's a connector, and then there is the driver's side as well. And then they can connect up together. They go along the underside of the vehicle and up into the engine bay. And along this path also goes several fuel lines. So while we're here, we're replacing the fuel filter, which is there, and then as well as some of the part of the fuel lines that goes to the tank. You can see, if you look up in here, that's literally where the back seat is. If you didn't know, when you're sitting in the back seat, you're basically sitting on top of your fuel tank. Here we have the parking brake lines, and one of them is still in there, stuck. I gotta get that out, and the other one is free. So those are gonna also get replaced as a part of the rear subframe restoration. So they can go from there, and then they go in through here. They sort of, I guess, they cross over, and then they go into. So some of the stuff can just come out. But anyway, we also have, I mean, you can see there's a bunch of rust, nasty rust. But part of removing the rear subframe is to check to see if there's any cracks in the subframe. This bolt gets slightly bent when taking out that rear subframe, so this bolt is getting replaced. But everything here is going to get grinded down to the metal to check for any cracks, and then weld in reinforcement plates. And now this here, as well as that, they hold in the fuel tank, and there's a company in the UK that sells a replacement kit for these, so I'm purchasing that and replacing these because they're the rustier, crustier parts. And there's a bunch of other areas to address, so as I'm doing this, I'm going to try to see how well I can handle sort of dealing with rust and rust restoration on this car. I understand why M539 does not want to deal with rusty cars, because it just adds a whole other layer of complexity to everything. So anyways, there's a bunch of stuff to go through here, but it's sort of, this is what I've wanted to do, you know, when I get further into this, become more of an expert. And the reality of it is that, particularly with like a Northeast car, every issue is like is expanded because of corrosion issues. So some of the stuff is not too bad, can be addressed pretty easily. Some of the stuff needs to be replaced. We shall see. We shall see. Well, there's stuff like this as well. You know, there's a lot of stuff. So this is sort of a before picture, but the fuel lines from the fuel tank. It's kind of interesting. There's 3 lines for the breather. These breather lines, vent lines, they go up into there. And actually, we can see them. If I can get over here. We can see them here. They go through the cabin. This is the back seat. Up through here. Well, in here somewhere. And they go here. So this part, this whole line is also going to need to be replaced, which includes these 3 hoses. So I'm ordering that piece, and all those brackets have to come off, feed it back through, and reconnect it to this guy. And you can see also this thing is crusty, so that's going to have to be replaced as well. And probably do the fuel pumps while we're at it. And yeah, this thing is just talk about a project car. But this is what I've wanted. This is what I've asked for. And anyway, I don't know if we want to go any further on this. I'll just kind of cut it off here, but I've noticed there's some condensation under here where this garage is located. So I'm a little concerned about that as well. There's just some like wetness just because of the humidity in the air, which really sucks. So that's a thing. But, you know, I purchased this car. It's a project car. There's a lot of issues with it that normal customers wouldn't necessarily be aware of. Missing brackets, missing parts. But that's why I'm going through this, so I can replace everything myself and make sure everything's done correctly. And as I buy future cars, I know exactly what to look for, because you can have a car that looks wonderful on the outside, but you're going to have a bunch of these issues on the underside of the vehicle. So, but we'll see. We'll see how bad this is. I'm hoping I can do a good before and after about this. Because I'm going to, like I said, grind this down, spray it down, spray some sort of rust converter, and tighten up this stuff, replace some of these bolts, do some reinforcement of the subframe. All new bushings on the rear subframe. There's many bushings. And yeah, just continue to go on. But I do like this. I'd like to do this more often. I'd like to be sort of doing this for a living. That would be cool. But not sure how that's going to happen. Anyway, that's it.